When people think about Stjepan Hauser, they imagine bright lights, massive stages, and powerful performances. His public image is built around passion, energy, and global fame. But what happens when the camera turns off? This is where a completely different side of his life begins. Behind the spotlight, Hauser lives a life that is far more calm and controlled than most people expect. While his onstage presence is intense and dramatic, his off-camera life is often quieter and more personal. This contrast is what makes his personality so interesting. On stage, he is expressive and bold. Off stage, he appears more focused, private, and selective about what he shares. This shows that public image and real life are not always the same. One of the most noticeable things about his off-camera life is privacy. Unlike many celebrities who share every detail on social media, Hauser keeps a large part of his personal life hidden. Even though he is active on platforms like YouTube, most of his content is centered around music, not his personal routine. This creates curiosity. Fans want to know more. They want to see what his life looks like when he is not performing. But instead of showing everything, he gives only small glimpses. And this is intentional. Another important aspect is balance. Fame can be overwhelming. Constant travel, performances, and public attention can make life stressful. Off-camera, maintaining balance becomes necessary. Hauser seems to understand this well. He takes time away from the spotlight to recharge. This allows him to maintain both his mental focus and creative energy. Without this balance, it would be difficult to perform at such a high level consistently. There is also a sense of control in how he manages his life. He chooses what to share and what to keep private. This helps him avoid unnecessary pressure and keeps his personal space protected. This is something many public figures struggle with. But Hauser has managed to maintain that boundary. Another interesting point is how different environments affect a person. On stage, everything is fast, loud, and energetic. Off stage, things slow down. The environment becomes more relaxed, and the focus shifts from performance to personal life. This shift is important. It allows him to stay grounded. In the end, the life of Stjepan Hauser is not just about what the world sees. It is also about what remains unseen. And sometimes the unseen part tells the most interesting story. When the cameras are off and the stage lights fade away, the daily routine of Stjepan Hauser becomes much more structured and focused than people might expect. Success at his level is not maintained by talent alone, it requires consistency. Off camera, his day is not random. It follows a pattern that helps him stay productive, creative, and mentally balanced. While exact details are not always public, his lifestyle clearly reflects discipline and control. A typical day likely begins with a calm start. Instead of rushing into work, there is usually a moment of quiet time to reset mentally. This is important for someone whose public life is so intense. Starting the day with focus helps set the tone for everything that follows. Then comes the most important part: practice. No matter how successful he is, practicing the cello remains a daily priority. This is what keeps his performance level high. Even after achieving global recognition, he continues to refine his skills. This shows professionalism. Many people assume that once someone becomes successful, they can relax. But in reality, maintaining that level requires even more effort. Hauser's routine reflects this mindset. Another part of his daily life includes content and performance preparation. Whether it's recording music, planning performances, or creating content for platforms like YouTube, there's always something in progress. This work may not always be visible, but it plays a major role in his success. There's also time for rest. This is something many people overlook. Constant work without rest leads to burnout. For a performer, both physical and mental energy are important. Taking breaks, relaxing, and stepping away from work are necessary to stay at a high level. Hauser seems to understand this balance. His off-camera life includes moments where he is not performing, not recording, and not working. These moments allow him to recharge. Another important aspect is environment. Being surrounded by the right environment helps maintain focus. Whether it is a quiet space for practice or a comfortable setting for relaxation, the environment plays a role in productivity and mental clarity. His routine also reflects independence. He manages his time in a way that supports his goals. This includes deciding when to work, when to rest, and how to stay consistent without external pressure. This level of control is important for long-term success. In the end, his daily routine off camera is not about luxury or randomness. It is about structure, discipline, and balance. And this is what allows Stjepan Hauser to perform at a high level again and again. Because what people see on stage is only possible because of what happens behind the scenes. One of the most interesting things about Stjepan Hauser is the difference between his onstage personality and who he is off camera. On stage, he is intense. His expressions are powerful, his movements are dramatic, and his connection with the music is deep. Every performance feels full of energy and emotion. This is the version of him that millions of people recognize. But off camera, things are different. Away from the spotlight, Hauser appears more calm, controlled, and private. He does not carry the same intensity all the time. Instead, his personality seems more balanced and relaxed. This contrast is natural. Being on stage requires a certain level of performance energy. It is not just about playing music, it is about creating an experience. That version of him is designed to connect with the audience in a powerful way. But real life does not always look like that. Off camera, there is no need to perform. There is no audience to impress. This allows him to be more natural and less expressive in a dramatic sense. Another important difference is communication. On stage, he communicates through music. Every note, every movement tells a story. Off stage, communication becomes simpler and more direct. He does not need to express everything with intensity. This shows control. He knows when to be expressive and when to stay reserved. This balance is important because it helps him maintain both his public image and his personal life. There is also a level of privacy in his personality. Hauser does not reveal everything about himself. Even in interviews or content shared on platforms like YouTube, he keeps certain parts of his life hidden. This creates a sense of mystery. Fans see one side of him, but not the complete picture. And this makes people more curious about who he really is. Another key trait is confidence. His onstage confidence is obvious, but off camera, it appears in a different way through control, decision-making, and the ability to maintain boundaries. He does not feel the need to explain everything or share every detail. This kind of confidence is quiet but strong. It allows him to live life on his own terms. There is also authenticity. Even though his onstage presence is dramatic, it is not fake. It is simply a different version of his personality, one that is focused on performance and connection. Off camera, that same authenticity exists, but in a more subtle form. In the end, the difference between his public and private personality is not a contradiction. It is a balance. And this balance is what allows Stjepan Hauser to be both a powerful performer and a private individual at the same time. Fame can change a person. For many celebrities, success brings pressure, attention, and a loss of personal space. But when we look at Stjepan Hauser, it seems like he has found a way to handle fame without losing his identity. And that is not easy. When someone becomes globally recognized, their life changes completely. Every move is noticed, every action is discussed, and expectations continue to grow. This can create stress and confusion if not managed properly. But Hauser approaches this differently. One of the key things he maintains is boundaries. He clearly separates his public life from his private life. On stage and on platforms like YouTube, he shares his work, his music, and parts of his lifestyle. But he does not share everything. This helps him stay in control. Another important factor is self-awareness. He understands who he is beyond fame. This allows him to stay grounded, even when the world around him is focused on his success. Without this awareness, it is easy to get lost in public attention. He also avoids overexposure. In today's world, many celebrities share too much, too often. This can lead to pressure and loss of privacy. Hauser, however, shares selectively. This keeps his personal life protected and reduces unnecessary stress. There is also discipline in how he handles his career. Fame is not treated as the final goal, it is treated as a responsibility. He continues to work, practice, and improve, rather than relying only on past success. This mindset keeps him focused. Another important element is balance. Constant attention can be overwhelming, so taking time away from the spotlight becomes necessary. As discussed earlier, his off-camera life includes moments of rest, reflection, and personal connection. These moments help him stay mentally strong. There is also emotional control. Fame brings both positive and negative reactions. Praise, criticism, and rumors are all part of it. Managing these without losing confidence or focus requires strong emotional control. Hauser seems to handle this well. He does not react to everything publicly. Instead, he stays focused on what matters: his work and his personal boundaries. This shows maturity. In the end, managing fame is not just about success, it is about stability. And for Stjepan Hauser, that stability comes from discipline, privacy, and self-control. Because real success is not just reaching the top, it is staying there without losing yourself. After understanding the off-camera life of Stjepan Hauser, one question becomes very clear. Why does he choose to stay so private? In a world where most celebrities share everything, daily routines, relationships, and personal moments, his decision feels different. It almost feels intentional. And it is. Privacy for Hauser is not about hiding, it is about protection. When someone becomes famous, their personal life often becomes public property. Every detail is discussed, judged, and sometimes even misunderstood. This can create pressure that affects both personal happiness and professional focus. By staying private, he avoids this. He controls what people see and what remains personal. This gives him freedom, the freedom to live without constant public interference. Another important reason is focus. His identity is built around music. His performances, his passion, and his dedication define him. If he constantly shared personal details, the attention could shift away from his work. And that is something he clearly avoids. Even on platforms like YouTube, where many creators mix personal and professional content, Hauser stays consistent. His content revolves around music, not his private life. This shows discipline. Not everything needs to be shared to stay relevant. There is also emotional protection. When personal life becomes public, it also becomes vulnerable. Relationships, feelings, and private moments can be misunderstood or criticized. This can create unnecessary stress. By keeping these aspects private, he protects them. Another factor is control. The more you share, the less control you have over how people interpret it. Hauser chooses to limit what is visible so that he can maintain control over his image and narrative. This is a smart approach. It allows him to avoid rumors turning into bigger issues and keeps his personal life separate from public opinion. There is also a deeper message in this choice. In today's digital world, there is pressure to share everything, to be constantly visible and open. But Hauser's approach shows that success does not require full exposure. You can be globally recognized and still keep your life private. This is a powerful lesson because real life does not always need to be public. In the end, his privacy is not a limitation, it is a strength. It allows him to stay focused, protect what matters, and live life on his own terms. And that is why the off-camera life of Stjepan Hauser remains a mystery not because it is empty, but because it is intentionally kept that way. After exploring every aspect of his off-camera life, one final truth becomes clear about Stjepan Hauser. There are two versions of him, the one the world sees and the one that exists beyond the spotlight. On one side, there is the global artist, the performer who stands on stage with confidence, energy, and passion. The version that millions of people watch on platforms like YouTube. This version is powerful, expressive, and unforgettable. But on the other side, there is the real person, a man who values privacy, balance, and control over his life. A person who does not feel the need to share everything to stay relevant. Someone who understands that fame is only one part of life, not the whole identity. And this difference is important, because many people confuse public image with reality. They believe that what they see on screen is the complete truth, but in reality it is only a part of the story. Hauser's life reminds us of that. His off-camera world is not filled with constant attention or performance. It is more grounded, more controlled, more personal. It includes moments of silence, reflection, and normal life things that are not always visible but are essential for balance. This balance is what keeps him stable. Fame can easily take over a person's identity. It can create pressure to always perform, always share, and always stay visible. But Hauser does not allow that to happen. He steps away when needed. He protects his personal space. He chooses what to show and what to keep hidden. And in doing so, he maintains something that many people lose himself. There is also a deeper lesson in his journey. Success is not just about recognition or popularity. It is about maintaining control over your life, even when the world is watching. It is about knowing who you are beyond your public image. And Hauser seems to understand this clearly. He does not chase attention, he manages it. He does not depend on fame, he controls it. And this mindset is what allows him to continue growing without losing balance. In the end, the real story of Stjepan Hauser is not just about music or success. It is about identity, the ability to be both a global star and a private individual at the same time. Because sometimes the most powerful part of a person's life is the part the world never sees.
So, hello everyone, how are you? Welcome to the amazing video for us, Stephen Hauser. Hello. So, as we come to the end of today's video, it's important to take a moment and truly reflect on what we've explored about Stephen Hauser. Because when we look at him on stage performing in front of thousands of people, it's very easy to think that what we are seeing is just talent and fame. But in reality, what we see on camera is only the final layer of something much deeper, something built over years of discipline, sacrifice, and emotion connection with music. Stephen Hauser is not just a performer who plays the cello, he is an artist who speaks through it. His music carries emotion that words cannot express. Every note he plays feels alive, as if it has its own story, its own memory, and its own heartbeat. And that is what makes him different from so many others. He does not just performs music, he transforms it into an experience. When he in on the stage, you don't just hear sound, you feel energy, passion, and emotion flowing through every moment of this bow. But what must be people don't realize is that behind all of performance lies something very simple: hours and hours of practice, repeating, and silence. The camera captures the beauty of his performance, but it does not show the struggle behind it. Behind every flawless performance is a room where no audience exists. No appeals, no lights, no cameras, just a music and his instrument and endless decisions. That is where the really story of Hauser begins, in those quiet, unseen moments where he is not performing for the world but referring himself for it. Off camera is Off camera life is completely different. There is no stage energy, no crowd cheering, no dramatic lighting. Instead, there is focus, passion, and a deep emotion connection with music itself. This is where creating is shaped, where ideas are tasted, and where performance is slowly but not by note. And this is something very important to understand. Greatness is never instead. It is never something that happens overnight. It is time. What we see in a few minutes of performance is actually the result of years of invariable effort. Stephen Hauser teaches us the lesson without even speaking a word. His music itself tells the story. It tells us the passion alone is not ego. It must be combined with discipline. Talent alone is not ego. It must be refined through effort. And fame alone is not ego. It must be supported by decision. When we watch him performance, we are not just watching a music, and we are watching a journey of growth, struggles, emotion, and mystery. And that is what makes his art powerful and so unforgettable. There is also something deeply human about his construct between on camera and off camera life on stage. He is powerful expansion and full of energy, but off stage he is focused and deeply connection to his inner world. This balance what kept him grounded as an artist. And maybe that is the real secret behind his success, understanding that both worlds are equally important, the world of performance and the world of practice, the world of attention and the world of silence. Without one, that the other connection exists. So when we admire Stephen Hauser, we should not only admire the final performance that we see online or on stage. We should also respect the unseen journey behind it, the hour of practice, the discipline, and the emotional investment that goes into every single note he plays. Because true artistry is not about showing perfection, it is about creation. Emotion is the about connection with people in a way the worlds never can, and Hauser does exactly that every single time he pick up his cello. So so if this video made you feeling something, if it have you even a small moment of reflection or inspiration, then that is the real success of today's content. And if you enjoy the kind of storyline about music, emotions, and artists like Hauser, then does not forget to support this channel. Your support helps me create more videos like these, videos that do not just show performance but also explore the stories behind them. Make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn off notifications so you don't miss the next one. Because here we don't just watch music and experience it, is feel it, and we understand these stories behind it. Thank you for watching till the end. And so bye bye everyone. You watch every day, every latest update, and you share with your friends, your family members, and your relatives this video. So bye bye everyone. I hope you like this video, and share with your friends, your family members, and your relatives.